Yeah, you already know. When I first saw this, bro, I ain't gonna care. I was actually shocked, bro. I was actually shocked that he actually got this guy. Actually, like, I'm actually shocked that Ray decided to talk about him, cause that's the just the goal, bro. That's the legend, bro. And he talking about he could have been a superstar. He already was a superstar. So I don't know what he meant by that. But it's all cool though. You feel me? It's all cool though. Let's see what they talk about. Let's go back to the video again. You know
Do
what
you
I'm
remember
saying?
what happened to this rapper? It's pretty crazy. Now, the rapper is Xxxtentacion, but people call him X. And X is around 18 when this story starts, and he's living in
Oh,
Florida.
it's taking a minute
And
for it to
like I said,
come
he's
up,
an up-and-coming rapper trying to make a name for himself. The
bro.
problem is,
Bro,
he's constantly getting into trouble. Like, he has a history of getting into street fights, he was arrested for a home invasion
no
robbery,
doubt, bro.
and so he
No
has to
doubt.
spend some time in juvenile detention. Twice. Here's a mugshot, here's another mugshot. But then he gets out. And
Bro,
now he's
he
trying to
was the
focus
top. He
on
was the
just his
GOAT.
music.
He was the
So he
GOAT back
starts
in the day.
releasing more of his songs on SoundCloud. And there, slowly, he starts building a fan base and even doing smaller live shows. And so one day in 2016, X is performing at a show, and that is when he sees this girl in the crowd, Geneva. And X thinks Geneva is fine, and Geneva thinks X is fine, and after the show, they start talking and they hit it
Fine.
off,
He
and
said
before
fine.
long, they start dating, and eventually, Geneva moves in with him. And so their relationship
said
is
it's
doing
fine.
well. And the two of them, they're like constantly posting about each other on social media. It's so adorable. But at some
Yes, I
point,
be
this
in a
relationship
relationship.
starts to fall apart. Because here's the
Yes,
thing
I be in a
about
relationship.
X.
I ain't gonna
He's
lie.
been dealing with some serious mental health issues for years. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when he was young. He's also struggling with depression, and he has anger issues, and sometimes he hears voices in his head, and I'm not sure if that's been properly diagnosed during this time. And a lot of these issues, they start to surface while he's with Geneva. Like, he gets irrationally jealous. I mean, X hates the idea of her giving unnecessary attention to anyone else besides him. Like, one time, I
Yeah,
guess she
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I already know about all this. Ass was very violent back in the day. He made a mistake, but yeah, he changed his ways. But yeah, he changed his ways, bro. He actually changed his ways, and he did good. Yeah, he started reading books and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then he just tried to do something new. And he started a challenge called the Helping Hand and everything, which is I'm gonna see, which is y'all gonna see on the video, on this video. If y'all, and if you can also see it on his old video on his channel, it's still up, bro. Yeah, y'all can all see it on his old channel. He got that up. Y'all just type the Helping Hand XXXTentacion and stuff. So yeah,
compliments a male friend's jewelry, and he gets mad and he like destroys her iPhone over it. Another time they're in the car and she's like humming along to another artist playing on the stereo system, and this pisses him off, and so when they get home, they get into a big argument over it, and he gets violent and he starts hitting and punching her. And none of this is a one-time thing. Allegedly, this abuse happens over and over and over again. But then it gets even worse for them. Because at one point,
Lord help.
X finds out that Geneva has cheated on him with one of his friends. And if that isn't complicated
Ooh,
enough,
see?
she then tells
Oh,
him that she's pregnant with his ex's baby. Now, whether or not she was actually pregnant, that's the subject of debate, but that's what she tells him. Regardless, X
bro, when you cheat on it, just leave, bro. You could have just left. He could have just left and things like that. But dude was probably toxic and everything. He probably liked that girl, and he just, yeah, you know how toxic and crazy men be. You know, we men ain't perfect and stuff like that. But cheating ain't cool either. Cheating's not cool either. You know what I'm saying? So. Mm, it's an L for him for beating on her and L for her for cheating, I guess. I'm gonna say that to be fair.
flips the fuck out. And allegedly, he starts beating her and punching her, and he strangles her. And so from here, she gets hurt and she needs medical attention. But X, he doesn't want her going to a hospital because he knows that if hospital staff sees her injuries, there's a chance that they'll alert the police. And he could end up going to prison because, he's already on probation for his previous crimes. So he
Oh,
takes her phone away from her and he locks her in a bedroom and he refuses to let her leave the apartment. And about 2 days go by and he's still got her trapped in there. And so she's looking for any opportunity that she can get to escape. Then, at one point, he gets distracted. And he's like playing Minecraft while simultaneously talking to some people on Skype. And he's so focused on the game that he doesn't notice her sneaking past him and crawling her way out the door.
that's
And from
smart
there,
move.
she
Smart
contacts
move.
police,
Smart move.
and police show up, and bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. And so now he's facing charges for false imprisonment and aggravated battery against a pregnant woman. And these are serious charges. So if he's convicted, he'd be looking at multiple years in prison. And even if he somehow avoids prison, this kind of case could destroy his career, one that's just starting to take off. But here's where the story gets really wild. While he's in jail, whoever's handling his social media for him changes the cover art on SoundCloud for his song Look at Me to a picture of his mugshot. And this song
Man, I ain't gonna care. That's my song to this day, man. King my nigga my bang. Oh, that's my song, boy. I'm telling you, bruh. That song went crazy back in the day, bruh. My cousin got me sing. My cousin, I ain't gonna lie. My cousin got me listen to that song, bro. It was popping, bro. It still is popping to me to this day, bro. You know what I'm saying?
starts to blow the up. And therefore, his mugshot blows the up. And people on the internet become obsessed with it. They think it looks so cool with his half blonde hair. And around the same time, ASAP Rocky posts about him, and then there's like
Oh,
some
A$AP
Drake
Rocky.
beef or whatever that's catching traction. And so
A$AP
suddenly,
Rocky.
lots and lots of people are searching his name
Rocky.
and finding his music. And that is when his streams start shooting up and his fan base grows bigger and bigger. And after 6 months in jail, he finally gets out. And he's still on probation, but now he's no longer just some underground SoundCloud rapper. He's kind of a big deal at this point. And record labels have been approaching him, and he signs a $6 million record contract with Capitol Records, and he releases a new album, and he even starts touring. Then, around the same time, he and Geneva reconcile their relationship, and Geneva decides that she wants the domestic violence charges against him dropped entirely. The problem with that is that Florida state prosecutors, they're not about to drop the charges. I mean, they believe X may have pressured her or influenced her to try and drop them. So instead of dropping the charges, they actually add additional charges.
See, yeah, once you try to change your life and yeah, see, they get so stuck up in the past of what he did, uh, but they don't really care the man trying to change his ways, bro. And it's sad, bro. See, that's why you gotta get some help before it's too late, bro. Before you deal with situations like this, bro, you gotta get some help, bro. You gotta get some help.
Of witness tampering. And so the legal battle keeps going. Then in 2018, something interesting happens to him. And I don't know if he just matures or if he realizes that this lifestyle he's in could destroy his music career forever, but he decides that he's done with the kind of chaotic life he was living, and he starts presenting a very different version of himself to the public. Like, he goes on social media now and he talks about his struggles and about wanting to become a better person, and he encourages his fans to become better people too. Then he starts donating money to charity, and he encourages his supporters to go out and do good things for other people. And so it seems like for the first time in years, it genuinely looks like X is trying to leave the old version of himself behind and that things are looking up for him. Until one day, X decides he wants to buy himself a motorcycle. So he goes to the bank and he withdraws $50,000 in cash and he puts it in a Louis Vuitton bag. Then he drives to a motorcycle dealership. Now, what he doesn't know is that two men at the dealership notice that he's got this nice Louis Vuitton bag and they can see some of the cash peeking out of it. So while they're there, they buy some black neoprene face masks and they go wait outside in their SUV. Now, eventually, X leaves the building and he heads back to his car. But before he can pull out of the parking lot, skirt, an SUV suddenly pulls in front of him, and boom, two men jump out, and they've got guns. And they reach through his window and they try and grab the bag of cash. But X, he refuses to let it go. So he starts struggling with them. And when they realize that he's not going to give him that bag, blam, blam, one of the men shoots X. And unfortunately,
Bro, here's what confuses me though. Like there was a footage of him. There was a footage of him when the cops saw him like dead. Yeah, you know the video cam the police always have and everything. Here's my question: why was there no blood on him? There was no blood. There was literally no blood. I don't understand. I don't know if they strangled him because they was reaching in and stuff like that. So I don't know what they did. I didn't see no blood coming at all. He was just sitting there just dead. So I don't know.
he doesn't survive. Then the guys grab the bag and they flee the scene. Later, the police arrive and they begin investigating, and they go through the dealership's security camera footage and they're able to identify one of the two guys who came into the place around the same time as X. And later, they find videos that he had posted on his social media of him waving around a bunch of the stolen cash. And
That's messed
so,
up, bro.
bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. Also, bam, they arrest 3 other guys involved in the robbery. Here are their mugshots. And
Dang.
ultimately, 3 of them go to trial and they're found guilty, and they each get sentenced to life in prison. But one guy, he takes a plea deal and he gets 7 years in prison.
Dang, bro. Hey, yep, he got his justice.